laptop.
No worries.
So yeah,
No
yep,
worries. I'm
HTML.
sharing my screen.
Okay. So HTML stands for hypertext markup language, and it's all about designing a website or a front end. So mostly HTML work on front end, as I think or as I know, and it has like we can work only on notepads for using HTML. So we have to put the HTML at the first, then heading, then body, and everything which is visible in a website or a page of website. It's inside of the body of the HTML. So basically, we can use HTML and CSS. Is it CSS, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong. So we can use HTML, combine HTML and CSS for designing the website, all the appearance of the front page, the buttons, the coloring, the theme, the text, and all that. So HTML is I think it's a very big platform, but it looks very simple because we are using from Notepad, using Notepad. So it's all coding and it's very easy. I mean, comparing to Java, HTML is so simple using this. The very simple language or words, or this is what I got from the lectures and from some video tutorials. So that's all from my side.
Okay. Sounds good. Anyone else? Okay. So let's talk about what is web development first of all, right? So web development is also known as website development. Whenever I'm saying web development, it is generally a short form of website development, and it is refers to the task. Okay. Of creating, building, and maintaining websites, right? So anything which you see on the internet is generally a website. It's available on the web. That is why it is called as website, right? Now, for example, Google is a website. For example, Facebook is a website. Gmail is a website. So everything is a website which is available on the web. And web development is basically a way to create those websites, right? So we basically create, maintain, and build the websites using the many languages, which could be your HTML in the front end. And when we talk about web development, basically there are three parts. One is two parts, basically. One is your front end development, and second is your back end development, as we discussed like 2 weeks back, right? So when we talk about front end development is basically referred as user interface to the task. Okay. Of creating, building, and maintaining websites, right? So anything which you see on the internet is generally a website. It's available on the web. That is why it is called as website, right? Now, for example, Google is a website. For example, Facebook is a website. Gmail is a website. So everything is a website which is available on the web. And web development is basically a way to create those websites, right? So we basically create, maintain, and build the websites using the many languages, which could be your HTML in the front end. And when we talk about web development, basically there are three parts. One is two parts, basically. One is your front end development, and second is your back end development, as we discussed like 2 weeks back, right? So when we talk about front end development is basically referred as user interface. Now, what is user interface? User interface is something which user can see from uh, on the screen. For example, if you can see right now my screen, and so this is user interface. You can see a Sublime editor, right? So that is your user interface, and that comes under the part of front end development. Right, there are many technologies which are used for front end development. That is your HTML, CSS, JavaScript, TypeScript. Right now there are multiple frameworks and libraries are available in the market. That is your Angular JS, your React JS, right? Ember JS, Vue JS, right? So these are multiple libraries and frameworks which are ready-made solution to some extent for the front-end development. Then comes the back-end part. So back-end is something that, for example, you ask a guy to deliver food on your doorstep, right? So you just click a button and you ask that guy, okay, go to that particular restaurant and get me this food. So that food is delivered to you. That is your front end, right? But in the back end, that what that particular person is doing, that person is taking your order, that person is going to the restaurant, that person is delivering what needs to be prepared for your what food needs to be prepared as part of your order. Then he gets the food. So all that process which happens in the backend to actually get the food to you is referred to as backend development, right? So in backend development, we have the languages like we already discussed Java, we have C sharp, we have Python, we have many other frameworks and languages in order to develop the backend, right? So in today's class, we are going to discuss about the web development, and that to using HTML and CSS. Now, what do you understand by the term HTML? Anyone?
Hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language.
And what is markup? What do you understand by the term markup?
Symbols.
Yeah, I think these are as Mustafa said, agreed symbols. Yeah.
Makes sense. So markup refers to the data that is included in an electronic document. Okay, so if you talk about a website, if you really understand website is nothing but an electronic document which gets displayed in front of you, right? So so basically markup is nothing but is an electronic document which is made up of some symbols and elements predefined. Specified keywords, names, and tags. Does it make sense? Right? So HTML is the markup language. Basically, HTML is used to develop an electronic document using very simple keywords and some names tags. Right? We will discuss about HTML keywords, names, and tags in a bit. Now let's talk about a little bit of history of HTML, right? So HTML was developed in 1991 by Sir Tim Berners-Lee. Right, he is also known as the father of WWW, right, which is the World Wide Web, right? So he come up with the concept of internet which we see today, right? So Sir Tim Berners-Lee developed this HTML and officially released in 1995, right? So in 1995 your first HTML was released, and that was HTML 2.0, right? Then in 1999 a major HTML version 4.01 was released, right? In 1999 it was basically 4.01, right? So let's quickly jump into so we will talk about the benefits of HTML. right? So HTML, as we understood, stands for hypertext markup language. A standard markup language, it is first of all a standard markup language, means everything is predefined. You don't have to worry about syntax. You have to just use the defined syntax, and it is standardized, right? So every language you will see in the in the front end development world will be following those standards, right? It helps us in describing the structure of a web page, right? So what is web page? Web page refers to the one single page of a website, right? For example, I talk about Facebook. So Facebook has your profile section, then Facebook has your home section, right? So profile section, you get to see the information about yourself, right? What city you belong, what the posts you have shared. But the home section, you can get to see the posts related to the friends have posted on the wall of Facebook, right? So these are two different pages of one single website called as Facebook. Does it make sense? Consist of series of elements, right? And these elements basically tells the browser what needs to be displayed on the screen. So browser is informed through this, right? And okay, now in order to develop the basic HTML, right, we can use any editors, right? So for Windows, you can go with Notepad, you can use Sublime, and you can use VS Code as well, right? So my personal favorite is VS Code, but that's a heavy tool. So either you can go with Notepad or Sublime, right? So for those who are using Mac in their system, please download Sublime, and the editor which I'm currently using is Sublime. And if you have Notepad, that's more than enough for the web development. Anyone, any questions till now?
Yeah, let's continue.
Okay, so let's see the basic simple code of HTML, right? So I will first of all type it and then we will discuss it, right? Right, so this is basic basic HTML code, right? It contains some elements and tags which we are going to discuss now, right? So what I've done, I've written the code. Now I have to save this file, right? So in order to save this file, I will simply use save as. Will choose the location. So I've choose the location HTML. Will name this file. So I will say first or first dot HTML. So you have to use the syntax called as dot HTML in order to make your HTML file. So it's like text, right? So if you see a text file, you say dot txt. If you say image, you say dot png, and HTML file is defined by the type dot HTML. Does it make sense?
Sir, we cannot see the saving page. I mean the location and all that.
So location, you can choose any location.
Sir, it was blur. Yeah, now it's.
Yeah. So you can choose any location. It doesn't matter. I'm choosing HTML. So HTML is nothing but in my documents, I have this folder created. So you can choose any folder where you want to save your file. Right?
Can you explain the extension, sir, again?
So .html is the extension for defining your HTML files.
Okay, and you said if it's image,
I
so
was
we
just
need.
giving an example that every file has an extension, right?
Oh yeah.
Your text file has an extension .txt. If your image, then it is JPEG, PNG, JPG, right? If it's a PDF file, it has the extension .pdf.
Yes. Okay, sir.
Right? Similarly, your HTML file has the extension .html, right? So you have to simply click on save, right? So it will be your HTML file, right? So I will share my screen. Actually, you can see only one screen. So, okay, now you can see everything, I think. Right. So if you see, the moment I save this file, the benefit of Sublime is that it has given you some decorative text, right? Now it is saying, okay, HTML head, it is using colors, basically readable, right? So this functionality you will not get in the Notepad, simple Notepad, though you will get this in Notepad++, right? So now to run this HTML file, what you have to do is you have to go to that particular folder where you have created this HTML, right? So let me go to that folder. So I have created this in this, right? So you can see here it is first.html, which is already created. I have to simply double click on it. So when I double clicked on it, my first page got open and it says body goes here, right? Or you will see a page title over here, right? Is it clear how to save the HTML code and how to execute it?
Yes,
Anyone?
sir. Yes, in your screen we can see there is a dog type HTML. So do we need to type that in Notepad as well?
Yes, you have to type it. The syntax remains same for every editor.
Okay.
Doesn't matter which editor you are using, you have to follow the same syntax. We will discuss each and everything in a moment.
Shalin, if you have the link for Sublime, can you share it here so everyone will quickly install it as well?
So it is sublimetext.com. I will share it the link.
Yeah. So depending on your machine, everyone, please make sure that you are downloading. On the right hand, you see Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever you have downloaded. Yeah. Quickly install it. It won't take much time, few seconds. So you will have.
And I'm also sending you the code which I've written in the screen so that you don't need to type.
Yeah, so the only thing we will need to do is create save it somewhere with the extension .html.
Please take 5 minutes to install it and then to type this basic program and save it with .html. So you can say anything over here, right? So let's say my first web page, right? When I save this and go to my editor and reload it, you can see it is saying my first web page. I'm using Chrome. You can use any browser in order to execute this particular code. So you have to just double click on the file which you have created and it will be opened in your default browser of your machine.
Okay, so can you share the codes? I mean, can
Sharif Isab, do you have any issue? Wali?
No issue. Just I want to ask.
Yeah.
That's if Shalin sir, just explain why we write the doctype HTML the codes. Just like why we open the HTML and why we close it, why we open it, why we close it,
Yeah,
why
he
we
will explain
just
every
oh,
single of these.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
just
It,
write it, and I was waiting for that. That's he will
yeah,
explain, but
he will. For
now
now, we can only put these stuff together. He will explain that if as of now, if you can only put these stuff together, if you remember when we were coding in Java, it had a opening and as well as ending. Furkan, if you are there, you can explain it a little bit.
I got it, Talosh, sir.
Okay, good. Yeah, but he's
Just,
gonna explain it. He will
this,
explain it. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is the simple things, but in future we have some more syntax, and on that time
I'm
we will
loving
face
it.
Mhm.
You don't know how happy I am. Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's keep the ball rolling. Let's keep the wheel rolling. That's how we will make it. Thank you very much, Saif.
Okay, so
Same to
I'm
you.
done installing and coding. So if all of us are done, Shalin sir can go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so to understand this code, right, we have to understand few things. What is HTML tag, right? All right. So HTML tags are like keywords which defines that how your web browser will format and display the content. Okay. So are the keywords which defines with the help of these tags, your web browser can basically differentiate between your normal content and your HTML content, right? So using the tags only, we will your browser will come to know, okay, this is a part of HTML, and this is our normal content which he or she needs to display it. All right. So can distinguish between HTML and normal content, right? So everything in HTML is basically based out of these tags, right? So HTML tags are the keywords which defines that how web browser will format and display the contents. With the help of tags, a web browser can distinguish between an HTML element and a simple content. HTML tags contains three main parts: a opening tag, a content, and a closing tag, right? So three parts. One is your opening tag, content, and a closing tag, right? When a browser reads an HTML document, browser reads from top to bottom. Okay, so what we have done till now, we have created this document, we have saved this document, and we are executing this document by simply double clicking on that file, and it opens up in your default browser of your system, right? So what happens is your web browser is basically responsible for reading and understanding this document, right? So it's unlike Java, we have JVM, JRD, and JDK. Nothing like that. Simple, your web browser is responsible to understand this particular document. So whenever your web browser reads the document, it reads from top to bottom. Means your first line would be read first and your last line would be read at last. All right. Does it make sense? Okay, so what I'm talking about is tags, right? So tags are basic keywords, right, which we have reserved for particular thing. So uh, for example, if you talk about in general life, my name is Shalim. So Shalim can be tagged. Now Shalim is reserved for me. Okay, whenever you are saying Shalim, Talash will understand you will talk about me, or Furkan will understand you are talking about me. So in this class, I've reserved Shalim for me. That is my name, and that you can say is my tag. right? So that tag is basically a keyword which defines that what I want to say, right? So using tags, your web browser understands in what format you want to display the content. Does it make sense? Right now, a tag is always defined by an opening tag, a content, and a closing tag, right? So everything in HTML would be having an closing tag, and your opening tag will look like something like this. So your tag name, your opening angular bracket, and your closing opening, this is your opening tag, right? Tag is not the keyword. I'm just using it as a reference over here. There are multiple tags in HTML, and which are represented by in this particular format. So all HTML tags would be enclosed in this, right? So all HTML tags are enclosed like this. Right? Any questions? Any doubts?
So basically,
Yeah.
you mean all the red writings in this page is tags?
Correct. Right? So this is how you open a tag. Whenever you are opening a tag, you must close the tag, right? So these are simple basic rules. So I have opened the tag. Now I have to close the tag. Now, in order to close the tag, I have to simply use the /. So this is like a closing tag, right? And then your content of the tag goes inside this. So here your content comes, right? So in order to define a tag, in order to define a keyword, you basically have an opening tag, you have a closing tag, and you have a content inside this tag. Right? So there are few tags in the HTML which does not have closing tag. We will discuss those as well, right? Mostly, generally, all the tags have opening and closing, but there are few tags which have only opening tag and the content. No content, just the opening tag. So there are many we will discuss when the class, as in the class proceeds, right? Example are BR, HR, something like that. So these tags are not only the opening tags. There are no closing tags between for these tags, right? So tags are basically keywords which defines your web browser will format and display the content. Every tag has a closing and opening bracket, and the content goes inside your opening and closing tags. Does it make sense? So here in this example, HTML head, title, body, everything is a tag which you see in Angular backends, right? Any questions? Any doubt?
Yes, sir. Regarding tag, I want to ask, can you tell us how many the total tags are available in the HTML, or is it more than we cannot
There is
count?
no specified number.
Okay. So it means there are a lot of tags. So
there are a lot of tags, and once we will proceed with the frameworks like Angular and React, you will learn to create your own tags as well.
Okay.
Right? So there is no specified number. These are all system defined tags, but as soon as you will jump into the advanced technologies, you will understand that okay, you can also create your own tags. But that's not possible in HTML. Basic HTML, that's not possible.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so basically, whenever you are running your HTML code onto the browser, your browser just understand by tags that how to display the code. It actually does not display your tag. So whenever I was running this program, you see I have used so many tags. Still, the content was displayed, and the content was just this, my first web page, right? So web browser will understand from tags how to display the content, but it will not actually display the tag, right? Does it make sense, everyone?
Yes, sir. It does.
Now we will talk about our simple code, that is this, right? Just give me a moment, please. Let me attach a charger to my laptop. Okay, so let me come to what tags I have used over here. So first tag, you can see doc type HTML, right? This is pretty different from all the tags. As I told you, some tags only required to open. They don't have content, right? So your actual HTML is this, but if you see this tag, so this particular line of code is basically specifying your browser that this is your HTML5 code, right? So this particular doc type, by doc type, your browser understand, okay, this is your HTML5, right? So every browser has the scripting capabilities, and your browser is basically responsible for decoding your HTML code, right? Every browser, be it Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer, UC browser, Firefox, any browser in the world, every browser has this capability to understand your HTML code, right? And by defining this doc type HTML, you basically telling your browser that this is the HTML5 code, right? Now this HTML, right? So everything goes inside this particular HTML tag, which I'm using. So it's an opening tag, it has a closing tag, and then the content of this particular tag is like all the things which goes inside it. So for this HTML tag, all these lines of codes are the content, right? So everything in HTML goes inside this HTML tag, right? It's the root element of your HTML page, right? Before jumping into, I use the term element. Now, what is element in HTML? So elements are everything that is from start to end of the tag. So for example, if I say I have a tag tag and then I have a closing tag tag, and then I want to simply say this is my tag, right? So this particular line of code is referred as HTML element, right? So HTML element has everything from the start to end tag, that is referred to as HTML element. So you can say your HTML is the root element of your HTML document. Anyone, any questions, any doubt? Root element of your HTML document, right? So this is your HTML document. We have saved it by extension .html, right? So this document is your HTML document, and HTML tag is basically the root element of your HTML document, of your document. The browser is going to understand, right?
Yeah, got it. So anything else goes in between it, like title, header.
Everything goes inside these two tags. So this is your opening tag, this is your closing tag. Then whatever we are going to write inside these tags is the content of it. And as a whole, it is referred to as HTML element, which is the root element of your document.
One question, teacher. We have document type as HTML. Why we write it again?
Yes. It's a syntax, right? So basically, as I told you, tags are basically is used to define how your content needs to be displayed, right? So we will discuss that your contents can be displayed in multiple formats. Like for example, if you have headings, right? If you have paragraphs, and headings could be of different types. It could be a bolder headings, it could be a smaller headings. Then you have different lists, right? So there are different ways in which you can organize your contents on a web page, right? So for that you need your tags, right? Now your tags needs to be organized into one single unit, right? You cannot leave your tags here and there, right? So you have all the family members, but still you have a house, right? You cannot say, I have all the family members, why I need a home. You need a place where you can organize those family members, right? So HTML element is that place where you are tightly binding all these elements, other elements of the HTML language.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Now, HTML elements, as we discussed, can be nested with other elements present in the language. So the second is head, right? Anyone, any questions? Please feel free to ask.
Question, sir.
Okay. So head element contains the meta information about the page, right? So all the metadata about anything goes inside your head, right? So for example, head does not has its own value. It is defined by other tag, which is called as title. So let's understand title. Title is the name is specified for a web page, right? So whenever you open any web browser, right, or any web page, inside that web browser, every page has a title associated with it. For example, if I run this code, right, so let me remove this line, and I see there is something called as page title written over here on the top of a web browser's page, right? So this is called as title. You can give your anything inside the title. My first title. So I have to refresh it. So you can see it is saying my first title. So title is basically specifies the name for the HTML page and which is displayed on the browser taskbar or the title bar, right? And this
Great. Like,
title,
Shaleen, can we give the example of like when we open, for instance, Facebook, right? So it is having the title of Facebook on it with a logo of F. This is the title, right?
yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Right. So this title goes inside your head tag. The reason is that head is basically responsible for containing your meta information about the page. It's not the actual content which you want to display. It's just the name of the page. You are just giving the title to the page. So everything which is meta, which is just the information about the page, goes inside your head tag.
This word meta is something new for me.
Metadata, what do you understand by the term metadata? So metadata is basically referred to as a prerequisite data. For example, car, right? So car has the meta information, like it has the engine, it has the wheels. So all those things are meta about this particular car, right? So the things which are actually used to define something but are not relevant to the end user, right? So this particular head, whatever you are defining in this head, is not relevant to the end user. So if I say title, right, if I don't define a title at all, does it going to change the life of our end user? No, right? It will just start displaying the file name. It doesn't change anything for the end user. It's just that we are defining it for our own purposes, to solve our own purposes as a developer, that we have defined a title for every page we are developing.
Okay.
This term makes more sense in the terms of databases. So we'll discuss more about metadata in the databases.
Cool.
Right. But as of now, the things which are not relevant to the end user, which are just static information, goes inside your head tag. So this is your head element. This is your title element. This is your HTML element. And what is tag? Tag is this simple angular brackets and the closing brackets. These are referred as tags. Now comes body, right? The last tag I have used. So body is pretty interesting. Defines as the document body and the container for all the visible content. So whatever you are going to write inside the body will be displayed on your web page, right? So it's a container where you define all the content of your page. Any questions? Any doubt? Anyone?
No,
No.
sir.
Okay. So what we have covered till now. So we have seen what is HTML. HTML is a hypertext markup language. What is markup language? Markup language is nothing but an electronic document that is specified, that is defined by specified keywords. And the keywords are HTML, head, title, body, doc type. These are the keywords of HTML language. So markup language is basically a binding document for these keywords. Right. So this language was introduced in the 1991 by Sir Tim Berners-Lee, was officially released in 1992. The latest version got in 1999, and we are using the latest version. So this particular type is used to define. We are using HTML5. Then we have seen what are tags. Tags are nothing but the keywords which are reserved in HTML language. Then we have seen the elements. Elements are basically consist of a closing tag, ending tag, and the content between that. Right. This is what we have covered. We have also seen how to create a HTML file and how to run a HTML file. I hope with this, everyone would be able to create their first web page.
Yeah, let's, Charlene, if you can give us like 5 minutes of practice for the class to do it, and then we will share our screen.
And
From
trust me
A
when
to
I say
Z, all
this,
of them.
all the complex website which you see in the internet are basically made up of these tags and these simple keywords.
I'm done with coding, so I can show my codes if you want to.
Yes, please.
How can I switch my camera? Yep. Okay.
What is the extension you have used for it?
HTML.
Okay. Can you show it in the browser?
Yes.
Perfect. Perfect.
Good.
Can you see
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
it? So my
So
question
you don't
is,
have to write
uh,
first.html in the first line.
no, when I write it down here, so look, if I clean that one, so it's directly clean it from the subject also. Look.
That's strange. Okay, so just remove it. Just remove it. Okay, and press Ctrl S, or if it is a Mac, Command S, and give it a name. First.html. Select the location where you want to save this file.
Okay.
First dot. Don't give a space. Dot HTML. Right now, select the location where you want to save this file. It could be desktop, documents, anywhere.
Okay.
Right.
Save.
Click on save. Yeah.
Okay. So
Sir, I
don't know
think
the rest.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
now-
didn't close the head tag.
Here?
No, in the 8th line, you have to close the head tag. In the 8th line, close.
You need to retype the head and close it. Yeah, before body. Yes.
Here, I should go down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close the tag. Right. So it is always suggestible when you are working on a web page, first of all, save the web page with the .html extension. In that way, you will get a nice pictorial representation. So if you're working without saving a file, it will be all text, right? But once you save it with .html, right, your Sublime editor will understand this is HTML file and will start, identifying the keywords, the HTML keyword, and display it in different colors so that it gives a better readability. And I get very, comfortable while coding. So that's my preferred style of coding. You can choose your way.
And
Okay,
now
so
I will
what I
share
need to
mine.
do next?
Yeah, so now you can go to the desktop where you have saved this file. So I think that's on desktop. Right now, double click on it. Right, so you can see your first thing. So you are using Safari as a default browser, but it doesn't make any difference.
And this is the ending tab for body. And then we have the open and ending element of HTML. So now I saved it. I saved it here within documents. I created a folder code in Sublime. It's my first code, Microsoft Edge. It says I am Talash, basically means struggle. I think one thing that we are
Alright, sir, you didn't open and close title.
Title.
Inside the head,
After
inside
head.
the head. So whenever you are saying I am Talash, right, inside the head in the third line, you have to use title. Otherwise, you will observe this, right? So in the web browser, your title goes like my first code.html.
So here I put, okay, I should put here title.
Yeah, inside third. So inside head element, there should be a title.
Yeah, so, no,
Yeah.
I should,
remove this, control, use title, open a tag, title. Tag, it is a tag.
Okay.
Whenever I say tag, it always comes into angular brackets, right?
Okay.
Title.
Yeah.
Now close, the tag is already closed. Now you can say my, whatever you have written. Right? Now save it and refresh the page.
Refresh.
You can see the tag.
Subhanallah.
Yes.
That's perfect. Okay, so that's for today. From tomorrow, we are going to discuss more tags and elements in HTML. We will see a different ways to display the content in your HTML page. So today we have simply seen body and we are putting anything inside the body, but inside body itself, how to organize your contents in a more structured way, we will see tomorrow.
Okay. Shalin, do you have any specific assignment for us to work on at the moment? 3 or 4 assignments to work, create a few pages.
You can create pages, right?
Yeah, that will be
and you
one
can display
assignment.
whatever content you like.
Okay, this will be one assignment. And on our
okay, I'll give you one assignment and create a web page and inside body, put everything which you have learned about HTML today.
Okay. Did talk about why we need these pages. We did talk about tags, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did not talk about the HTML attributes, how to differentiate document versions. So you can give us any assignment on these, that anything that you are gonna discuss tomorrow. Like for instance, we did study few of those tags please do a research on HTML tags. Yeah. That will be a very nice assignment for all of us to take a look into it. Right?
Okay.
Class,
Okay,
yeah. Charlene, I would say, like, you know, I'm sorry, it should have been prepared early, but still, I mean, this is how we will be hitting. Yeah. Please do a research on HTML tags and attributes. Yeah, so I'll copy this. Whoops. Paste it here. This is our assignment. Beside, we are putting all the stuff that we read today into an HTML page. Anyone has any question? I will put in the group. I will do a little bit of research and see if there are some nice discussions with regard to the HTML tags and attributes. I will share it with the class as I go.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Talash.
Yes.
Sir, Shali, sir, I have a question. And here, the Sublime text, I mean, the Sublime application which I installed is unregistered. So do we need to register that or no?
No, that's okay.
That's okay. Okay. Okay, so that's it from my side.
Okay, then. Thank you, everyone. Have a
Yeah,
good day.
thank you, sir. Thank you.